Alright, we'll see how quickly I can do this, but review time for my TS6.130 New Holland tractor here. It's a 2015 model. I think that's the first year they were released. Bought as a held over model following year. Just about 1,015 hours now. But overall, the too long didn't watch version is this tractor kind of had to grow on me a little bit, but at this point in time now, I do like it. It's an okay tractor. Simplistic, put it that way. Versus the T5s or the T6s, the TS6s are a cheaper model. It's more basic setup here. Not sure the T5s can come in platforms or not, but this does either have the platform option, no cab. You can get a canopy for it. So save some money there. A lot less features on here. It's not as much electrical stuff on here. There still is some yet, like the throttle, the dual power, a couple switches for front wheel drive differential, and then the dash then. The engine, it is a Fiat engine, of course. 4-cylinder, 130 engine horsepower. It sips fuel, very economical, plenty of power on demand. I mean, the most I've made this tractor work is hauling bales, hauling 19 round bales with the old hay train, and pulls are really good. It's plenty of power. So far I've been fairly happy with the engine. The engine itself is quiet. It's very quiet. So the thing there, this tractor makes a lot of noise, is the hydraulic pumps. It's got 2 hydraulic pumps on it. It's got an auxiliary one, and it's got the standard one. Then the auxiliary is up here. There's actually a filter on the back side here. See the white filter in there? That's for the auxiliary pump. Fuel filters. Oil filter is over here. Right there. Steering filter. Right there. Hydraulic filter. Back there. Yeah, these things. And I've been having, I guess, for one little nitpick thing on this, I've been having a little bit of trouble with these things here, these rubber seals here on the hood. They don't like to say I should just glue him on, because I had trouble with the back seal here too on the engine right here. This thing, I put some industrial adhesive on it. It looks like it's holding for now, so I need to do that to this front thing yet. But engine oil check, it's right here through this cutout notch here on the loader frame here. This is actually loader ready. I actually have 2 mounts here for a loader, and it's also got the loader valve here, right here, joystick up there, but we didn't need a loader for this, so it saved me some money there. But it has that option on here though. But I can definitely tell the oil check is a little difficult. If that thing was on here, you can barely get your hand in here for the oil check dipstick, oil fill. It's very difficult. Same with kind of probably changing this and also changing the fuel filter. So this thing actually had a loader on it. It would be a little bit difficult because it makes it a lot tighter in here. It'd probably make those fuel filters a little difficult to change then, but I can't say for sure because there's no loader on here. But that'd just be something to make note of if you are looking in one of these tractors. So something to make note. We got air filter right here. So that's a toolbox here. Government piss. Big ding on the tractor. It's worked good. So it's worked good. Did have an issue early on. Poor DEF when I first bought the tractor. Same thing happened with our Massey too. So lesson learned. But so at that, I think the seal is starting to leak here. Not on the cover, but on this other part here, it seems like it's been a little more wet than what I remember. So I think that's seeping. I'm gonna have to look into that. Fuel cap cover here. It does have a big flat O-ring in here, but Problem is, you got to have the sucker tight. I don't know if it's just the molding on this tank or something, but even though if you have it snug, it will still leak out diesel fuel. You will still see it kind of getting really wet here, so I got to kind of make that thing tight. It doesn't leak then, so I don't know what's going on there, but I'm just kind of nitpicking right now on that, but I'm just kind of making you all aware here of just some issues I've had with it. So for that, the engine, overall engine, there was a coolant leak on it early on. The first year I had it, it was on the back side of the engine. There was some, I forget what it was, some line or plug was threaded on the back of the engine here was leaking. That was taken care of under warranty. Yeah, I guess that's it for the engine. Oh yeah, it uses oat coolant, organic acid technology coolant in here. It's a special coolant, so that's something to make note of too. Depends, you know, it all depends. Some machines use different coolant, like, you know, New Holland kind of Case H, they use a variety of coolants, but if it uses oat coolant, you have to use that. If it uses a different coolant, you have to use that. So you can't mix those coolants because you will have major problems. So just to make note of that, it says there'll be a sticker on the engine that says what coolant's in there. So yep, beer keg here. There were steps here. I took them off because I don't need the steps here, I guess. So I put a toolbox on here then to carry more tools and hardware with, which I'm glad I did. That comes in handy a lot. It's got 3 remote hydraulics on here, plus loader valve, 540,000 PTO, drawbar, came with a hammer strap as well. 3-point linkages. 3-point, you know, this side is dual. You just rotate the center hub, center point here. This, you just rotate this, but this sucker is only threaded on one side. You actually have to take the pin out and then rotate it. Then I don't know why they have to have them separate like that for. I guess it's just to make it cheaper, but it's just something to make note of. Keep an eye on that. Trailer plug here. These are all manual. You got manual flow control knobs right here. And not too long ago, I did have one of these knobs start spewing oil back here. O-ring was shot, so something went out there. O-ring went bad. On the hydraulic remotes here, out of all the tractors we have, they go the hardest running the levers. Control levers. They're just stiff. The way they're designed here, how they're routed, there's a lot of resistance. And dealerships that just said that's just the way they are. So, and especially the third one here, I can't put it into float because it will stretch the cable. That's what happened to the original cable when I first got it. Got the covered in warranty. They just sent a new cable with. And the way this is designed back here, it's a very, I would say, cheap design. It just goes hard. I don't know why. It's just why they have to cheap it out that much, but just something to get used to. And they've kind of broken in a little bit more as I've used it more and more, but you know, it's not the nice hydraulic lever. It's not like the little TS100 here. That tractor's 13 years older, and those levers are just like butter, nothing to them. So yeah, I think that's about it for the outside of the tractor. The way we have it set up too, I bet this tractor only weighs like 10,000 pounds right now. The only added weight I have on it is just one set of wheel weights on either side. I do have more I could put on that came with it, but I don't have a need to have extra weight on it. You know, it's got kind of good sized tires on here. These are 38s back here, I'm pretty sure. Or are they 34s? Oh, no, they are 18.4 38s. Front tires are 14.9 28s, so the footprint on this tractor is really small. I mentioned before where, you know, if this tractor starts spinning or sinking somewhere, every other tractor we have has to stay away from there because you will make ruts. This tractor can go in a lot of places where you wouldn't even touch with another tractor unless you want to get yourself into trouble, I guess. So, but Yeah, but the way we have it, so we have it set up to be very light. There's no ballast in the tires. There's nothing filled in here. There's no front weight carrier. It didn't actually come with it. You know, there's nothing up here. It's a very lightweight tractor, which is good for what I need it for. But if I want to add weight, oh, sure can. I sure can add weight to it if I want to, but no need for it right now. So that's the way we have it set up here. Plus only having a platform too cuts down a lot of weight. The light package on it is very simplistic. You know, you got your front headlights, you know, your main front beams. You also got side lights here that kind of shine out to the side. And it only had one rear light back here, right here. Only has one here. But I added a set of LED lights up on top of the canopy here, which greatly improved visibility at night. So the one thing it doesn't have are side lights right now. It's got no side lights going out to the sides. There's kind of dead spots there, but it is a cheaper tractor though. So the fuse panel is behind here. Take this cover off. And here's the top of the platform here. Rubber mat, park brake, PTO, manual PTO engaged lever, which I actually don't mind. It's not as nice as the little electric control PTO switch, but this works pretty good as well. I did have a problem with the safety mechanism in here. There's a little switch there, or a flapper, or whatever you want to call it, that tells the computer that when it's engaged, when the lever's, you know, in the forward position here. That actually went bad my first year I had it. It was stuck, it was mounted incorrect, so covered under warranty, a guy fixed it, mechanic. But it pretty much, that just prevents the tractor from being started if the PTO is engaged, you know. That's all. It's a safety mechanism, which is actually a good thing. Doesn't bother me. 3-point controls here. Draft, raise and lower, 3-point height, range, gears for the transmission, throttle is electric. Very basic dash, RPMs, coolant temp, fuel, and then the dash itself. Then you got hour counter, def level, engine voltage, machine voltage, alternator, fuel usage. Doesn't have ground speed, which is kind of ridiculous if you think about it, but this is a basic, very basic dash here though. The screen, there's not much to be done on there. That's about it. So there's a couple things you can tinker with, but that's about it though, so nothing much to there. Yes, I know. Okay, I'm just gonna do this for now. Shut that up. Yep, just your horn, lights, front side lights. This is the loader joystick. I have it locked right now. Seems like it would be pretty nice for loader work, the way it's positioned. It'd be a nice little loader tractor, probably. Not too bad. Hydraulic levers, front wheel assist, diff lock. This is my switch put in for my rear lights up here. Gotta wire it in. It does have a creeper gear option. There is a harness in here, but the tractor just doesn't have the internals for creeper gears. But this tractor's series is capable of having creeper gears on it. That's where this would be at then. Hazard lights. This is for running screens up here, whatever there is on here. Left-hand shuttle. Just a tilt for the steering wheel. About it. Clutch brakes. The shuttle here, I'd say it's not the smoothest. It's kind of, when it engages, it's kind of sudden. You know, it's not a nice gradual engagement. It's pretty quick, which, you know, I end up finding myself using the clutch more, especially when I'm moving bales. I find the clutch, using it more to get better, smoother engagement. So that's just my preference. You don't have to. Especially if you're in slower gears, you know, if you're in first high, it's probably fine. Or if you're in lower gears, you know, first range. Well, I guess I can't put it in low range right now. The tractor's not running, so. But you know, you put it in low range, it's probably fine than running the shuttle then. So But like I say, it's kind of stunning. Kind of like the dual power here too. This transmission is a dual power transmission. Essentially what it is you got two ranges, low and high. This is neutral. You got 4 gears per range, and then each gear you actually have 2 separate speeds per gear. For shifting ranges, you have to be stopped completely or else you will grind gears. For selecting a gear, you can be moving, stopped, whatever. It's a very smooth engagement. And then, but you have to be clutching. You have to declutch in order to shift. But the dual power function here, this can be done at any point. Tractor's moving, transmission engaged, you can shift dual power. Allows 2 speeds per gear here, so it's very easy. Slowing down, it's pretty smooth, but speeding up, depending on what gear you're in, it's sudden. It's pretty much instant. I think it's not hydraulic, it's electrical controlled, so it's a little more sudden. It's either on or off is what it is. So kind of have to mind what you're doing, especially in high range, second, third, or fourth. You have to mind your load back when you're shifting. I've kind of gotten used to it where, you know, just like driving a semi, floating gears, using the engine RPM to kind of match speed, kind of sort of. So when I'm looking to upshift, I'll drop the RPMs by 300 and simultaneously upshift, and it's real smooth engagement then. But if you don't do that, you just hold your RPMs, it's gonna jump into gear then when you use the dual power function there. Mainly just for going the high gear here. Slowing down with the low gear here, it's pretty smooth. It's real smooth, so. But that's just the way it is, so. I think this tractor can come with 2 other types of transmissions. But I guess the dual power for the TS6 though is the more premium for this tractor, so. If you want a power shift, I think you either need to go with T5. I'm not sure if the T5s have it, I'm not sure, but if you want a full power shift, I think you got to go with the T6 though. But it does cost more money, so. Yeah, here are the hydraulic levers. They're pretty stiff. Luckily I got good strength, it doesn't bother me. So, you know, the detent positions, they will not automatically kick out for anything. They don't go back into neutral. You have to do it manually because, well, they're cheap and they go hard. So you have to kick it down yourself. It's not like, you know, for example, I keep coming back to this little TS100 tractor. You know, depending on what you're using, double acting cylinders. You know, put it lower. Once it lowers all the way, it'll kick out on its own. You know, like most hydraulic levers do. But this one, they will not, even though they have that detent, I guess for running motors, maybe something like that, but pumps, but they will not go back to neutral on their own, though. They won't. So sometimes the cables on the back of the tractor, they get kind of out of adjustment where, you know, it won't quite go into float. It'll kick back out of float because it's out of adjustment. It's not going far enough, not enough travel. So you have to loosen one screw back there. It's a Allen wrench screw. Then you have to move your cable where it needs to be. Then nothing to it really. So I do have one ongoing issue too with it, with the throttle control here. Sometimes the foot throttle I will lose. It will disable it. For some reason it goes out of range. For some reason I don't know why. It throws an error code, 3001 error code. I got that thing memorized. It's for some reason it goes out of range. Have to shut the tractor off for like half a minute to a minute, start back up and be on my way in. So it's been an ongoing issue ever since I've had the tractor. It's random, you know. The dealer has done software updates, but you know, it could be a bad potentiometer, but I don't know. If that's all it does though, just random, like, you know, I pretty much went all year without a problem until, you know, a few weeks ago, and then it finally threw the error code. You know, it's just completely random. It doesn't do it that often, but you know, that's all it does. Whatever. I'll live with it. No big deal. I think it's a 60-gallon fuel tank, something like that. Holds a bit of fuel. Like I said, it sips fuel. For what we use it for, it doesn't use any fuel, hardly. I think it's probably our second best, most fuel efficient tractor. Behind the little TS100 here, you know, it's really good with fuel. Can't say what else I've had problems with. Oh yeah, the drive line on here, the front drive line here, there's grease zerks on these knuckles, front and back, and also on the splines. There's a grease zerk for keeping those splines lubricated so it can give fore and aft, so it won't break anything, pop seals out. But there's 3 zerks. They kind of line up all together. You know, you have them in kind of, you know, kind of diagonal towards the top side here. They kind of all line up then where you can all get them all in one shot then. So that was not listed in the owner's manual. It's just a greasable drive line, which really, it's not bad getting to, especially since I took the steps off away from here. It's a lot easier getting in, so no big deal. Don't mind doing it, I guess. Then I know it's getting fresh grease in there periodically, so I can keep up to date on that then. So that drive line should never have any issue. I don't think it should never have any issue as long as I'm up on top with greasing it. So this is just a standard front axle on here. Speaking of the front axle, the steering on this thing, I don't know what it is. You know, when I had it at the dealership for warranty work, I asked them to check the steering over. It seems like it goes hard at times. Like there's not much power assist, but they said the pressure's checked out fine. They said there's a little bit of pressure drop at lower RPMs, but out of all the tractors though, this thing steers the hardest at times. I don't know why. Like, especially more or less when I turn one way, and then I start turning quickly back the other way, there is like no power assist. I find myself using a lot of strength for some reason. I don't know what's going on with it, why it does what it does. I've got no idea why. But everything checked out fine. Just I don't know why it does it though. There's really no excuse for it. But that's probably, you know, between that and the rear hydraulic remotes here, those are probably the 2 biggest issues on this tractor that I'd say that would probably annoy me the most. Other than that though, if this thing just had, you know, the better style 3-point back here, this arm for adjusting here, the 3-point connection on here is really nice. You know, New Holland has their pin style here for your stabilizer bars. Super easy to do. I love these. Super easy to connect equipment. Love it. Drawbar is real easy to take out, flip around. It's super easy. It's just 2 bolts underneath. And the big pin drops out. Slide that sucker in and out. Super easy. Yeah, overall the tractor has been, you know, like I mentioned, it kind of had to grow on me, but everything I've used it for now, it's mainly, you know, a haying tractor, you know, mowing, raking, hauling bales, rowing bales, doing some seeding every now and then with the little massey drills, the old drills. A lot of odd jobs too. It's been a good little tractor. Price point, I mean, you know, nothing's cheap anymore nowadays, but for a modern tractor like this, for how basic it actually is, you know, it's probably as basic as you're gonna get for, you know, today's tractors. Oh yeah, they also do come in 2-wheel drive models as well. Doesn't have to be front wheel assist, you can have 2-wheel drive too. I think there's a variety of tire sizes. I think there's a high clearance model too for specialty crops. So these TS6 models kind of have all shapes and various models here depending on your operation. So, but very, very simple. It's still enough electrical crud on here though that can go around to like this whole system here. But, you know, overall we'll see how good it treats me for the next 1,000 hours here now. Got 1,000 hours on it now, so we'll see how it works here now for the next 1,000 here. Oh yeah, this isn't appending to my review video, but forgot to mention that the transmission on here, it's a 16x8 transmission, 16 forward gears, 8 reverse. The 16 forward gears utilize the dual power function on the tractor. The reverse gears do not. However, the reverse gears for speed exceeds the forward gears. So like I got the speed charts here, and like I'll just do an example, like high range first gear, Low dual power is about, let's see what's here. Low dual power at 1400 RPM is 3.4 miles an hour. In high dual power, it's 4.3 miles an hour. But the reverse gear at that RPM is 4.5 miles an hour. So, I mean, top speed of this tractor, 2200 RPM. Top speed forward is 19.7 miles an hour. Top speed in reverse, 20.4 miles an hour. So, something to make note of. I don't know why they have it that way. I'd rather have it the other way around, where the reverse gears are slower than the forward gears. I mean, I guess that's another quirk that I don't like about it, that why they have the reverse gears faster. I don't know why. So, just the way it is, but that'd be my other complaint on that tractor, though. Why? I don't know why they have it that way. Reverse should never be faster than driving forward. Never.